As Megimoto Prime walked around, Max and Super Fire were circling him. They were clearly hunting him, like two T-Rexes hunting down a Triceratops. Then, all of a sudden, Sophiles was the first one to attack. He aimed for Megimoto Prime's throat and grabbed him. Then there. And Max came in, biting at his leg. Megimoto Prime was managed to punch the Refinowars off of him and grabbed Max and slammed him on the ground. Refinowars used his atomic breath push while hitting Megimoto Prime. Then Max followed right behind his dad. Then the two charged. Megimoto Prime put up a much more of a fight than Refinowars and Max thought. They instantly charged at him and managed to use their combined strength. They managed to slam into him, sending him flying. Megimoto Prime decided he had enough. He used his super territorial wave. At first, he was aiming at Max, but Sophiles pushed him out of the way. Instantly, Sophiles' spines exploded. They were gone. They barely looked recognizable when Sophiles turned his head to look at them. My spines. Max looked at his father in shock. Dad! Max ran in towards his dad, but before he could reach him, Megimoto Prime punched him in the stomach. Made Sophiles cough out blood. Max looked at his dad as Megimoto Prime approached him. He ran in towards Megimoto Prime, but Megimoto Prime punched him on the ground. He then turned his attention back to Super Final Wars and roared at his face. Super Final Wars roared back. Clearly a Godzilla vs. Kong reference. I will admit, you and your pathetic son have been a pain in my back. And now it's time for you and your son to die. Back with the others, they were Super Mechagodzilla Earth was managed to finally get done with the frequency. Alright everyone, cover your ears. He turned up to full power. And instantly, he turned it on. The frequency was so loud, it blasted through the windows, shattering them instantly. The noise was so loud it could be heard from across the planet. But the frequency was only designed and made for only Megimoto Prime to hear. He was about to punch Super Final Wars over and over again to kill him, since he had no tentacles to use. But before he can even land a single punch, he heard the frequency and roared out in pain and in agony. Everyone saw on the big screen that it was working. Megimoto Prime fell on his back, roaring out in pain. As he heard the frequency, whoever made it clearly knew what they were doing, not just that all of his senses were now completely blocked off. It was like being hit by a single click from a sperm whale, and how all the sensory organs just shut down completely. Maywood Prime could no longer sense what was going on around him. This was a perfect chance, an opportunity Super Final Wars and Max longed, waited for. Max ran in. He grabbed Maywood Prime in his arms and started to try to pull it off. But with the help of his father, he was managed to rip the thing off. Maywood Prime roared out in pain. And again, because of the frequency, he couldn't even land a hit. He tried to, but he had to cover his ears within the process. Max and Super Final Wars ended up tearing him apart like overgrown piranhas. Not just that, there were certain parts of him that they were literally tearing off of his body and literally eating him. They weren't just killing him, they were sort of eating him alive. This made Super Godzilla Earth almost sick to his stomach. Ugh, if I was him, I would just freaking, ugh. I'm glad I'm not him. Yeah, same here, I'm glad I'm not him. A long time ago, Super Final Wars' ancestors actually hunted and killed and ate Maymuto Prime's own kind. Maymutos were not just predators to the Mechagodzillas, they were also prey to them as well, when the opportunity presented itself. Then, once when Super Final Wars and Max had Maymuto Prime down on the ground, Maymuto Prime looked up in horror at his two rivals. Super Final Wars and Max just looked down at him with a predatory intimidation glare. Super Final Wars was managed to instantly regrow his spines back. How in the world did you do that, Dad? My healing factor is similar to Legendary Ghidorah, and similar to Attack on Titan style within a way. Oh. Wait, does that mean I have it too? Duh. Oh. Well, okay then. Wait, guys, hold on. I wasn't really gonna kill you. I was just playing around. I mean, come on. I mean, sure, I killed half of your family and killed half of your kind. I mean, let's just say we're even now, because you killed half of my kind. Is that good enough? Sir Flowers and Max just looked at him with a confused look on their face. They looked at each other and they could almost laugh a little bit. Was he being serious? Was he actually showing fear for once in his life? Well, seeing the look in his eyes, so far as can tell, that Maymuto Prime was definitely afraid. No, Maymuto Prime, we're not going to forget everything about what you've done. You killed my mom by lighting her house on fire. You killed my father. You killed half of my species, and you took away my girl Allison. As much as I want to tear you apart, I got a better idea. I'm gonna let my son do the honors. I'm tearing you apart. Alright. But Max, save some for me later. Sure thing, Dad. About a couple of minutes later, Max was done. Maymuto Prime was still alive, but barely. Sir Flowers then moved in and finished the job. After that was done, Max and Super Final Wars roared out in triumph. They avenged half of their family, half of their kind. They truly avenged them all. And not just that, even Max got the revenge that he waited for. Finally, it's done. About time. Now, any descendants of us will no longer have to live in fear, right, Dad? Don't get your hopes up, son. Megamotor Prime may be dead, but eventually a new Megamotor Prime will rise. And he'll take his place as the new Megamotor Prime. That won't happen until like a couple hundred years or so. So until then, for now, yes, Megamotor Prime's reign has come to an end. Hopefully, there'll be a Megamotor Prime to change his ways and hopefully become good and lead his people to glory and victory. Not within an evil way, but within a good, peaceful way. Me too, Dad. Me too. So with that out of the way, what should we do now? Let's go home. Well, that's what we should do. But who turned on the frequency? You know, that main Megamotor Prime to lose interest of us and basically scream out in pain. I bet you $500 that was Super Mega Godzilla Earth. I bet he figured out Megamotor Prime's weakness. His main weakness. I'm surprised technology wasn't around back 100 years ago. Actually, it was 1,000 years ago, son. But back then, technology wasn't even built back then. Back then, nothing was built. The humans were less overpopulated back then. But now things have changed. Would have been useful 1,000 years ago, though. Yeah, that would have been useful 1,000 years ago. But come on, you don't want to keep Or waiting. And it took Sir Flowers and Max long to arrive back home. Instantly, Or greeted them with the tight hug. Max and Sir Flowers hugged her back. Thank God you two are okay. Just a few injuries, but nothing we can't heal off of Or. Thank God. I was so worried for you two. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. Later that night, there was a party going on, celebrating Sir Flowers and Max's victory. One down, only two to go. There was 3 leaders. Megamotor Prime, David, and Lucas. But mainly, David was Sir Flowers' main concern. But for now is the time of peace and celebration. Because now, Sir Flowers can put his vengeance to rest. And he's not the only one to put his vengeance to rest. Max could finally put the long revenge he held within him for so long. He can now put it to rest. He can now enjoy freedom properly.